We probably all use the internet in one form or another every day, and maybe you haven't stopped to think about how this tool could be impacting you. In Mohini Vara's new book, Searches Selfhood in the Digital Age, she explores how the internet and digital technologies influence and reshape personal identity and self-perception. Mohini joins me now. Welcome to New Day.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so we're going to start with a personal story that you had that we wanted to share first. Back in 2021, you asked a predecessor of ChatGPT to actually write about your sister's death. What can you tell us about what that gave you and the impact that it had? And also we wanted to say, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Thank you. Thanks for saying that. What happened was OpenAI, the company that makes ChatGPT, had this predecessor that would just write text for you. Like you would give it a sentence and it would complete the story for you. And I thought about the thing that was hardest for me to write about, even though I'm a writer, and it was the death of my sister. And so I wrote this sentence, and it gave me a text that had nothing to do with the death of my sister. And I kind of tried again. It got a little closer. Every time I tried, it got a little closer to an extent, but it never actually communicated anything about the death of my actual sister and what that meant to me. And I realized through the experience that like the only way I could actually use text to express something about my experience would be to do it myself. A technology product by a big technology company wasn't going to do it for me.
Definitely, and something so personal
Exactly.
like that. And was it infuriating to keep like writing something in the text and getting something during that process that wasn't at all about your sister?
Yeah, it was wild. It was infuriating, and in some ways it was also satisfying in the end, because I'm a writer. You know, I don't want there to be a technology that can write the way I can, right? That can express something for me. It's in my interest for that not to be possible, you know? So when it couldn't, I was sort of like, all right, well, I guess I'm gonna have to do this myself and do the hard work of figuring out how to express myself. But also, isn't it beautiful that I can eventually figure out how to do that? We as human beings can figure out how to do that. We don't need machines to do it for us.
Absolutely. And so from that experience and beyond, just in a broad sense, in what ways do you think the internet is influencing us right now?
You know, I think of the internet as being kind of like value neutral. Like there are things about the internet that allow us to express ourselves in really profound ways, connect with one another. The problem is that most of the products that we use in order to do that are owned by big technology companies. And every time we interact with these companies' products, it enriches them and it gives them more information about us that they can convert into widening the gap in knowledge and resources between them and us. And that's the thing that I think is problematic.
Definitely. And you write about a concept too called technological capitalism. Explain.
Yeah. I mean, we talk about big technology companies and their products as if like this is something totally new, right? We've never seen it before, and there's an extent to which that's true. But I also think we can look back to history and see how the way that capitalism works is that we as people are offered something that does benefit us to an extent, and that's why we buy products and use services, right? These things do benefit us, but they benefit the companies behind them more, right? That's the whole structure. If they benefited us more, the companies wouldn't be making any money, right? And so technological capitalism is doing the same thing. Google promises us information, and it does give us access to information, but the company gets access to much more information through our use of the product that it can then use to make money and gain political power. The same is true for companies like Meta, like OpenAI, and so that's the structure I'm kind of interested in looking at.
So interesting. And at this point right now too, do you think AI is helping us or hurting us?
I think AI costs a lot of money to build. And so in order to create AI products, the people interested in creating them need money, need capital, and the people who can provide that are people and institutions, other companies that are already wealthy and powerful and who want to see a return on their investment. And so what happens is that the way these products are built is that they're built in a way that is going to likely further enrich them, further empower them using the information that we give them. So, you know, there are certainly ways in which these products already help us, could continue to help us. But again, like with these other companies we talked about, the companies are structured in such a way that in order for them to be successful, quote unquote, right, financially successful, they have to get more from us than they're giving to us.
And so what do you think is next then for AI, if you had a crystal ball?
You know, the only thing I'll say about that is that I don't think it's necessarily the case that AI is our future and an AI-dominated world is the world we're going to live in, right? What I'm interested in talking about in the book is the fact that the future's unwritten. You know, Meta made those, like, Facebook made those glasses, those like weird glasses with the internet in them, and we decided we didn't want them, and now we don't have them, right? And so we can make these decisions together about what aspects of technology are useful and entertaining and interesting to us, and keep those, and what aspects we don't want, and actually not create a future in which we're dominated by those.
Thank you so much for being here. So interesting, and we really appreciate you coming.
Thanks for having me.